What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallari here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode number 86. Today, guys, we are talking about the CBA nominations. For those who missed it, head back, listen to Dave and Betty, or as the new nicknames were, Babe and Deddy, or head over to linedancerweb.com or thecrystalbuddhawards.com. You can see all the nominations. And yes, Big Jim, we are early. We're doing the show a little early today. Decided to go ahead and go through with it because today we're talking all about the CBA nominations. Real quick, a couple announcements, guys. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, subscribe, follow, share, like, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. That way you don't miss anything that we ever do. And that way you can see everything we post, go live, all that nice jazz. Don't forget, every Tuesday I have a show on the Line Dancer Radio. We do the Honky Tonk Highway there. It's from 2 to 4 UK time, 9 to 11 here on the East Coast of Florida. That way you can hear some of the stuff we do on the show, as well as I play music. Also, if you don't have time to watch the show, you can now listen to it on a podcast. We do take the audio from the shows, put them up on Apple Podcast or Spotify. That way you can listen there. So, today's show, we're going to hopefully answer some questions. Ask away, guys. Let me preface this. As Jonathan says, I'm brave to take on this topic. This no means as anything we say today take away from anybody that got nominated. Huge shout out to all the nominations that have been taken. All the nominations that got nominated. Congrats. Y'all deserved it. Here to ask the questions. We're going to talk about the different divisions and all that, and hopefully we can answer some of your questions on some of the things that happened. Some big numbers from yesterday. Mr. Gary O'Reilly had 12 nominations. I know that. I've seen some posts. Gary had 12. Madison had 11. And I saw Heather Barton had 10. Those are some big numbers, as Georgina says. Big Dave did a talk earlier on it, too. It's brilliant to hear. One thing I'm going to give a huge shout out to is my buddy JP Potter. And I double-checked this with Betty today. He became the first American to get nominated in the dedicated DJ category. Huge shout-out to him. I know that's where my vote went to. It was a hard toss-up between him and Dave Morgan, and I gave the nod to JP. Barely. And awesome to see him get nominated. Fred had 12. George, I didn't see all the posts. I know Jose had a bunch too, but yep, Fred had 12 too. It's gonna. I see a lot of boots going back to Ireland. That's Jim does want to know, Georgina, though. Very important question. Have you been consulted, if all the dances credited to Fred are actually his or not just yours? So sit back, relax, guys. If you have any questions, I know I'm going to share a couple of my thoughts on some of the thing. One thing I will say I started off disappointed with, USA only had one nomination. USA got one nomination across the board. Out of the dances, out of all the people, one. Not a single dance. One. I find that hard to believe with a year like that we had. Daniel and the boys said on Streamline a couple weeks ago that Streamline has over 21,000 people in that group. The USA has the most number of people in that group. So that's being shared with that people are being shared with. Of that, tell the USA people to vote. I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that. Tell the USA people to vote. I've looked at it. The votes suck. But the question is, I'm not even talking about tell the USA people to vote. Why aren't any non-USA people voting for Americans? I get we lack Americans voting. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. I looked today, in the last 30 days, only 258 votes have been casted by people from the United States on dances, but not even but if you go over and look at dances choreographed by Americans, you don't even see, you're not even seeing a bunch of, right, like Julie said, she did vote for Rosie Maltari. You're not even seeing a lot of other countries voting for Americans. And I find it hard to believe, and this is the one I find hard, and I was talking about this earlier. I find it very hard to believe that Ketch did not get nominated. Joe Thompson Szymanski, Grace David, I have a hard time with the fact Ketch was not nominated. I was shocked on that. I will tell you that. That was the one I thought for sure that there was going to be a shoe-in with Joe Thompson Szymanski. I thought for sure Ketch was going to get nominated. A lot of people did vote for JP. I did see that. A lot of people. And JP got the nod. I was happy to see him get the nod to make the finals and to get on that short list. But overall, like, I find it hard. And overall, it was, right, where was Bradley Line Dancer? Exactly. I have a hard time. How was he not voted for with all that he's been teaching all year? Even on Streamline, on all that thing. Tons of it. I voted for, Sharon says she voted for several choreographers and dancers, and they got sidestepped because of a lot of people who vote over here don't know a lot of the choreographers apart from the bigger personalities. I will agree with that statement. Why are there so many nominees in each category? All we need is the top 3 or 4, not 12. I agree with that. 20. I feel bad for people voting for the intermediate. Very bad. 20 in the intermediate category. And the numbers he had learned. You're right. He had tons of people. Julie just said, Bradley, all year. He had tons of people in all his classes, whether it was not on Streamline, on his personal page. That's why one of my 3 nominations for the Lockdown Award did go to Bradley. I 100% agree with that. Bradley was crazy. Bradley has been awesome this year. Love turning into, yeah. Bradley did a great job. There were just some things that blew my mind on that. But another one too is some of the dances, and this I guess I'm curious if this is an American thing compared to it. But if you look at the dances, and this goes back to a lot of our talks, that were in the top 10 on Copper Knob, don't get the votes on Line Dancer. Aren't getting the votes. They're getting viewed at. So it's almost like, and I'm going to say this across the board, people are viewing dances on Copper Knob, but only certain people are going and actually voting on Line Dancer Web. So it's almost like they're using it. And if only the Payne Awards attendees get to vote on top 6, we are screwed, LOL. Yeah, but on that note, I like the fact that, and this is what, I guess, I said this to someone else today, the Payne attendees voted for Dance of the Year anyway every year. Dance of the Year was only voted on by the people who attended the Crystal Boots. So it gave everyone who paid to attend the Crystal Boots something special. This year, something special is getting voted for by the people attending. So it was kind of a nod. I like how she. I personally like how she did that. It's different with the times. It's different with the amount of people. And you know what? More people might attend. More people might attend and show, and other people might attend who actually don't vote. So it could be a whole different thing than most people that watch the Boots. So Dave just said, Bradley has been awesome, but with mostly harder dances, so limited support base. Right, but we had 20 intermediate finalists. That's a lot for that hard one. I'll go ahead and I'll bring up the question that I have, and I'm hoping some people can chime in on this. And nowhere, again, like I said at the beginning, this is not taken away from anybody nominated. Kudos to everybody on that. How do we have so many people nominated for choreographer of the year? And they have no dances up for their dances of the year. Out of the 8 UK choreographers of the year, 5 of the 8 don't have a single dance nominated. Same thing with international. Out of the 8 finalists, 3 of them don't have a single dance nominated. So you have half of your finalists, 8 out of the 16 between the two, don't have a single dance nominated in the year that more dances made the finals and made the short list than any other year possible. So I'm kind of curious on people's thoughts on that. I find that as a good question. I know I'm probably going to get booed for that one, but I'm kind of curious what your thoughts on that one is. Georgina says, I agree. And how do you get some nominated for choreographer, but then they haven't done any dancing this year? Agreed. I 100% agree. Or instructor who haven't taught or that you've seen teach all year. I 100% agree on that. What was the total number of votes needed to have a dance nominated? That I don't know. That would be a Betty Drummond question. Julie just said, bad habits die hard, Kelly. I think that's what it is, and I agree with you. I 100% agree. Sharon's telling me to preach. Pauline just says maybe more might buy a pass, but only one person can vote per pass. You have to buy 2 passes per household. If you have more than one dancer in the house, yes. If you have more than one dancer in the house, you do have to vote. It is done by the view. The most outrageous omission is Darren, and Darren. I agree with that too. I don't see how Darren didn't get UK choreographer either, since he. I don't understand it. That was another one that I didn't understand. But back to the question I just asked: how, and not taking anything from those choreographers got nominated, but how did we have so many choreographers nominated, but none of their dances made it? Why is the worst for a whole weekend is my question. I hope they don't drag awards out over a few days and no one needs any more online teachers. Geez. Jonathan, it's going to run a lot like what the weekend runs. Thursday, like Betty was saying, is going to be kind of the kickoff night, more of a social. Friday, we're going to have the LDF night. There's going to be workshops in the morning, just like you were if you're at the awards. Some of the stuff that's going to be shown online, we're going to show past stuff, past events, past things. And then we're going to have Saturday night is the all awards. All the awards are on Saturday night, I believe, except for the lockdown and the LDF. And it's pretty much going to be ran like what the weekend was. Online drinking. Jonathan said he's not UK anymore. I asked that question because I actually nominated him for international, and I was told it would have gotten moved probably. He is considered UK still because of where he was born. So since he's from Wales, he is still considered UK. I did ask that question because of mine, and we got into that discussion when I did my voting online. That was brought up that. So it's still not right there. It's only for the dances, Julie. It's only for the dances. And to be honest, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make in the voting. I really don't. I really don't. If one dance runs away with it, which 9 times out of 10 I think it does, you're not going to see a big difference in people voting online. They're not. We're putting it up. The time difference is Wi-Fi. Should not. It's not. They'll be put up Saturday morning. You have all day Saturday to vote, not just during the award show. It will run the entire session of Saturday to vote. So if you go on in the morning, I think a huge issue this year is that the price of the online award thing to normal years. So many people can't afford the tickets as we are in a pandemic. It means you miss the awards and now your chance to vote. But a lot of people aren't paying the $1,000 to attend it either. And the people have been there's so many people that's doing so much stuff online that it doesn't matter. Rachel just said, I had that thrown at me when I got nominated after moving to the USA. Exactly. So that thing is Rachel being in the US now with her US citizenship. Can she start getting voted for international, guys? Huge shout out, Rach, by the way, for MIL getting the poetry and emotion nod. MIL is making a comeback. So Dave just said the problem in the UK versus the intermediate division is not a worldwide view. There are not enough UK choreographers and not enough room for international ones. The category should be regions of the world. Okay. There are not enough UK choreographers. half that list was Fred and okay. Gary's technically international because of the way Ireland is split now, but out of one country alone, Maggie, Gary, Fred, Shane, those were a good amount of the dances choreographed. That was a huge number. John just said I like that Fred and Shane are UK and Gary is international. That makes me I do think that is hysterical. I find that hysterical. But if you just look at the country of Ireland, I know and why there are UK because they live in Northern Ireland. I get the split. I do. I 100% get the split. I find it funny that English people don't know Northern Ireland is UK. I 100% agree with that too, Julie. I do know the split. I do know why it is. I totally get why that is. I still find it funny that you have one country divided between the UK and international. that does baffle me so much sometimes. So, but again, guys, I do have the question, and I understand y'all are asking great questions. How is it that we have so many people nominated for choreographer of the year that don't have a single dance nominated? Is the voting? Are you guys just voting for your favorite person? Period. When it comes to nomination time for the people, or are you voting for? Are you voting for the people and not just not voting for their dances all year? I'm a little confused on that. Because I 100% get they choreograph still, but. Ooh, Dave just said, that's a great question. I'm talking about for choreography of the year. I think it should be like Europe, North America. I like that. I like that idea. I like that. I like that. I like that idea. It should be like Europe, North America, and Asia. And then I guess the other question is too, how do you determine who's in Europe, who's in North America, and in Asia? Are you going where they live or where they were born? That's my next question. Popularity, and all the time favorite for getting it's for that 1 year. Yeah, I agree, Georgina. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're voting their all-time favorite person and not who's done it just for this but it's like that all year. Georgie, your mommy's giving you props for using a big word. I like that. Tim just said where they live. That's a good question. That's a good point. Where to go off by where they live, not where they were born. So because that'd be my next question, because that throws a lot of people around. You got people like Roth Fowler, who technically has dual citizenship. Do you count him as a UK or do you count him as international because he lives in Spain and has citizenship in Spain? Same thing with Rachel. Rachel is from the UK, but she has citizenship here now in America and she lives here. Darren Bailey lives here now, so I'm sure he's going to have citizenship here soon now that he's married and live here. Is he going to be considered international or North America, or is he going to be considered the UK? I think the biggest two that I question, especially goes down to that one. Grace David is an American. She was born here, but she lives in Korea. And then the actual one that I always ask, and I asked a lot of people this, is Alison Johnstone. She lives in Australia. She's Scottish. Did you vote for her for UK choreographer and personality, a UK choreographer and instructor, or international? That's the one I always bring. So Dave, I like that idea. Georgina just said Fred has an Ireland and a UK passport. Can we boot him into Ireland too? Georgie, are you really just trying to get rid of your husband already? Julie just says, I like an honest vote earned by talent. Many are so placed by overexposure and pressure. Oh, and so does Shane. Get them out of the UK categories. Georgie's just trying to get rid of everybody out of the UK categories. But Dave, that was a great ad. I kind of like that. If you broke it up into the different countries, have like a North American choreographer of the year, a Europe one, that could be interesting. That could definitely be an interesting concept of it. So, and I get the popularity and complacent, and you're voting for your all-time favorite, but I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny because there was over half nominated that someone got choreographer of the year that didn't have a single dance? I would wonder that thing. Dave just said they vote for the people. That's why the instructor category is a waste of time. Like Fred and Gary win both. Like at the international instructor list is exactly the same as the choreographer list. Totally ridiculous. Tim Perez just asked, so if someone has dual citizenship, they can only be nominated in one category. They want the one with the most votes. That's a good question. Right now it goes off of where they were born. So anybody born in the UK gets put in the UK categories. That one I do know. So that's how Darren is. Darren is UK, but like Dave said, I do find it hard that Darren was not voted for enough. Georgina said, is an instructor meant to be the best at teaching a dance? So can class instructors not be up for it? You don't have to choreograph to instruct. True. You can. Absolutely. That's totally. I totally agree with that. I 100% agree with the fact that's how it should be. But some are choreographers, instructors. Julie just said, yep. That is true. That's absolutely true. I don't have as much problem if a bunch of instructors are nominated and not their teach. That I don't have the problem with. If you're going to have all these people up for instructing, because that's fine. You don't have to be a choreographer to be an instructor. There are plenty of people out there, and I said this for a long time. There are plenty of people that can choreograph and can't teach. There's plenty of people that can teach and can't choreograph. There are a handful of people that can do both. But there are people out there that can't, and that's just the way it is. That I don't think that if you're an instructor, great, that's fine. You can absolutely be a great instructor and be nominated for Instructor of the Year. I thought for sure we'd see a little bit different because we had a ton of people teach this year, all over the place, all over online, and not many of them really got the praise for it. They didn't get the votes. They didn't get nominated for it at all. My thing is for the choreographer. If you have not a single dance being voted for, none of the dance, and especially this year, let's throw out past years and throw out when Betty dropped it to maybe 6 or 8 dances in a category. You had a category people with 20 finalists in it. How do we not have these people have at least one of their dances in? I can like someone's choreography, but prefer to learn from someone else. Absolutely. Oh yeah, there's plenty of people out there that I can't learn from that are choreographers. Let's see some of these comments coming in. I got comments coming in left and right. I love it. Dave said we should have an Irish category to Fred and Gary and Shane to fight out so everyone else gets a chance. That's awesome. I love it. That would be fun. It tends to be mostly the same people with a few variations. Agreed, Cat Painter. How many votes are needed to get a nomination? That one I don't know. I know it does vary. It was like the Rachel Maggie era. Yes, agreed. So many good instructors not recognized. Yes, 100% agreed with that. I thought there was a bunch of them that did great job online all year. Great job that did a bunch of people that did online this year that I think got robbed. Georgina just said, one thing that bugs me is that there aren't the same amount of nominees in each category. So if you were 11th in one category, you don't get the chance, but possibly 11th in another means you're a finalist. So confusing and not consistent. That's another one I do agree with. The fact that, especially in the dances, you had 10, 10, a 20. It's crazy. I do agree with that. I think that's why Betty said we needed to go down to another level because there's so many. And again, just looking at that list, and I'm going to pull up the list here if I can find it. Because I did not memorize the entire list of nominees. I never, if it was shorter, I could probably have done it. But especially with this, how many? This was just in intermediate alone. This is just the intermediate category. Okay? You had Faithful Soul, Get Juicy, Home to Donegal, I Wonder, I've Seen It All, Just a Phase, Kingdom Come, Life is a Lesson, Little Less Broken, Love Like a Symphony, Money in My Pocket, Morning Sun, Nothing But You, React, Rolling Stone, Shot of Tequila, Soul Shake, Southern Dreams, Sweet Attraction, and Wintergreen. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'd go for a rule that a choreographer nominee must have at least one dance nominated. I absolutely love that idea, Dave. Absolutely love that idea. I 100% think that something like that should be in place, because in this category alone, Darren Bailey had one in this one. I know he had a thing. You had people in other. He had in other categories. How many were nominated late year too? That's another one. That's another one, John. You had some of these dances. Money in My Pocket was later in the year. That I know. Let's see here. Get Juicy was 3 or 4 months ago. Like Carmen says, how do you choose? Way too many dances in one category. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me scroll over through some more of my my paper. He got UK. Darren did get nominated for UK instructor, which was great, but not UK choreographer. Let's see. Let's go to the advanced, if I can find it. It's absolute beginner. Oh, wrong direction. Advanced. The advanced dances alone. All I Need to Know, Bruised Egos, Cyber Remix, Get Ready to Ride, La Bamba, Limelight, Live Without You, Poetry in Motion, Rolling with Love, Sadness, The Greatest Love of All, and Together But Apart. That's crazy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's just great. Let's see. Also, dances that won previously shouldn't be allowed to be nominated again. Georgina, I kind of agree with you on that one. All 5 winners from last year, not counting the wild card, all 5 winners from last year were nominated. All 5 winners. Yep, like Dave said, every winner is back. It was, let's see, Limelight. Jonathan, I will go ahead and say it on air. No offense to anybody else in this category. I'm hands down, and I'm going to be doing all my voting live on air. Limelight, hands down, by far. Fred Whitehouse, I'm going to tell you right now, you got at least 1 vote coming in for Limelight. So I know where my vote is. I play that on my show all the time. I play that constantly. That is hands down my favorite dance, easily. So, Maddie B says, why are the awards early but the options to vote are not? Meaning, shouldn't all categories be based on the year and none from before? It's a great question. Great question. So, but yeah, hands down in that one. The advanced one, I already know. The intermediate, it might take me a minute. There's 20 of them for decide who I'm going to vote for that one. A lot of the dances I've been voting for the last couple months did make it. Improve your dance. Again, you got Bumblebee, Crystal Touch, Don't Worry, Be Happy, Half Past Tipsy, Heart in the Run, It's Gold, Jerusalema, Keep Young, Luke's Lovin', Senorita La La La, Shovel, and Stomp Down. No offense to anybody else on this. Half Past Tipsy is going to be my vote on that. Hands down, going to be my vote on that one. That's for sure. I already know that one. So, Georgina says, Rock to the Sun should get an award like Ticket to the Blues. What was that, Dave? For like a special one? I know that's what the Beast ended up getting, the Iconic Dance Award. Split the advanced Fred vote and something else will win. That's even with splitting the advanced Fred vote, I'm not sure if something else will win. With no offense to any dances on that thing, but I found Hot Limelight, I think, should easily be Dance of the Year. That's just my opinion. Julie just said, if a person is giving consistent quality, then they should keep winning. Like Olympics, you have to find that extra sec. Yes, I agree. That part I agree with. If they keep going year after year, and they keep getting the dances after dances, yes, they should win. Rachel said, gotta go, boys. Boys are losing it. Glad I managed to catch a little bit. Good combo. I'll try to listen to the rest later when they're out of their witching hour. Rachel, just think you got a fourth one coming. But like Julie was saying, giving consistent, I 100% agree with. If you look at the dances, they are. I 100% agree with you. No, like Youngblood a few years ago that quit nominating this dance award. Okay. Georgina, I have to pick one Fred dance. You could go against the grain. I feel for you, George, if you don't. If that's like, but Dave and Pauline, I get what you're saying. Probably with the advanced, Fred could lose it out on his votes, could be split. But that's the case. That's like saying Gary can lose out too because his votes are going to split. But that Gary has 2 or 3 nominations every year in every category. Like in advanced alone, Gary has 1, 2. Gary has 2 of them. So if his dance is split, he could lose out too. If you go to the intermediate, Gary has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gary has 5 of the 20. That's just saying that could be split. And you got Maggie's name is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. You got Fred's name on 1, 2, 3, 4. Madison's name is on, I think, 3. You got a ton. You got a ton. Jonathan just said there were a few dances that were nominated every year for years, and he finally just gave them an award even though they never won. Cat Painter just said, shouldn't the dance of the year not depend on the choreographer, but depend on the choreography? So then if people like to dance, he wouldn't lose out. Agreed. You would think if they like that dance, if that dance is their favorite. I voted based on the dance. There's plenty of people out there. There are plenty of dances out there that people write that I don't like. That doesn't mean I don't like them as a choreographer. That just means they have that one dance that I didn't like, or multiple dances I didn't like. Sometimes it's the song. Sometimes it's just the way they put the steps together. That doesn't mean I wouldn't vote for another dance of them for that category. And that's just the way it is. Trevor asked me this a couple weeks ago when he debuted his version, Broke No More, for the dance Broke, which is also the same choreograph as Money in My Pocket. He got done teaching. He asked me how I thought about it. I didn't like it. Why? It's because of the song. I didn't like it because of the song. No offense to Willie and JP out there, or no offense to, I know Michelle Wright had a dance to that dance in the top 10 in Copperknot for months, and it's still up there in the top, I think, 20. No offense, I don't like the song. I'm not a big fan of the song. It's okay to me. It's not one of those dances where I can put that song on and listen to it all day. It's not one of those. And I told him that. Had nothing to do with that. Just, I wouldn't vote for it because of the song. So unfortunately, money in my pocket won't get my vote in that category because I'm not a fan of the song. There's a couple of them that I'm just not fans of the song. Georgina just said, that's why we love seeing new names or less known names. It means it's on the dance, not the person who did it. Yes. Julie just says, I don't like Soul Shake. That's awesome. Amy just said her instructor loves the song too, and she's not a huge fan of it. That's just, and that's what it does to me. It's the song's got to grab me. The song's got to just go out there, and that's the first thing to me. You can have really great steps, and the dance be amazing, but if the song doesn't do it for me, it doesn't. Dave just said, "Yep." But many people vote for their favorite choreographers, especially and understandably their classes. Yeah, it's true. Jim just said his stove body like a back road. I like the dance first and then ask who choreographed it. Yes, I do the same. I love it when there's dances done that I have no absolutely name, about it. It's on the dance. If the dance was great, perfect. It doesn't matter who wrote the dance, if you like him or not. If that dance is great, that dance is great, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's just how it is. And like Lorraine just said, music is everything. So, but I do, back to Dave's point earlier, I do like the fact of you should have at least one dance nominated to be in the choreographer. I just find that hard. Half of our finalists between the two divisions, 8 between the two, 5 in one, 3 in the other, don't have a single dance nominated. That baffles me. So, Maddie just said, I assume international instructors mean everyone except the UK people. That's a lot to choose from, if so. Yes, agreed. That's an absolute lot to choose from. We got a ton. We got everybody. Carolyn just said, that's what we've been talking about. I find it interesting that the person can be nominated as favorite choreographer and yet have none of their dances nominated. Agreed. That's what we were just asking about. Georgie just said, you'll find that happens more with lower level dances, and it's lovely to see non-choreographers win a dance. Yeah, absolutely. Maureen, so should the dances nominated be listed in the various categories without the choreographer name after them when the nomination? No, because everyone already knows what who choreographed the dance. That doesn't matter because you're voting for the dances all year long. You know who choreographed those dances. Kat just says, I'm not sure if you have to have top choreography to be a top choreographer. I feel like if you have a bunch of dances that are really good, then people would vote for you as choreographer than one dance that's exceptional. I agree on that, but I find it hard that not one of your dances, not a single dance, if you're that good to make it to the finals. So especially in international, we have the entire world except for the UK to vote for. You have America, you have Australia, you have everybody. International, absolutely international. If you have all these great little dances and not one of them is being voted into where it makes the top 20 or top 10 of one of these categories, how can someone consider that's what I'm curious of. That's like being in a horse show without a horse. Right. Exactly, Julie. Great. And that's Jonathan, just, I love that. It is. That's exactly right. That's like you showed up to a dog show or a horse show and you didn't bring a dog or a horse. I just I don't get it. Georgina just said, even though the USA are missing, where was Neville and Julie? Roy and for you. Again, yes. What if their dance made it to 21? That part I can see that, and that's what we talked about earlier, about if maybe it was 11th. But how? Or like Jonathan said, or Guillaume and Daniel agreed. There's a lot of names on this list that I know have choreographed this year and released dances, and they weren't on either in either list. Some of the dances that I know were top of the charts, top scene, were taught all over the place, and just weren't there. But like, you have all these choreographers that did make it, and that's awesome. But I would like to have seen some of their dances make it, if that was the case, if they're true. Let's find out who the true, and this is the thing, nothing against it, but if that's the case, you only have, like in the UK choreographer, 3 people, Fred, Heather, and Shane, that had a dance nominated. And they have multiple dances nominated. But the other 5, not a single one. Julie just said, I've attended 21 CBAs now and still makes my head hurt. Yep, I agree. Georgina just said, or even Debbie, Tim, Yanni, Lee. Oh, exactly. There's tons. I can go on forever. People have been teaching week in and week out all year, but other people nominated I haven't seen or heard of all year. 100% agree. 100% agree. Guillaume just said, being in all these beautiful stages and seeing you guys all over the world, this is a win already. Guillaume, brother, I miss you. By now, I'd seen you 4 or 5 times in person, like last year, when we got to at least do one late night McDonald's trip after you picking up from the airport. So I still listen to a lot of your choreography every day. Some of your songs I play on the daily. I don't 10 nominations I've never heard of at all. Agreed. I can there's and not to start another one, but the DJ one, we had that talk last time. I don't get the dedicated DJ. I don't get the category. I was happy that the 2 people that I had it down to be nominated, the one I nominated, both of them are in the finals. So I'm happy with that. I just don't get the point. I'm happy for everybody. But dedicated artist, I haven't heard. Now, mind you, I understand the dedicated artist is not an American thing. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. I've learned a lot more about dedicated artists with all the streaming I've done, between getting to work with World Dance Masters, with Thornhill, working with Nikki, one half of Calico. Huge shout out to her for getting nominated. With all the artists that I've seen online, Richard Palmer. So I do know a couple of these, but we've been in a pandemic where I think we'd have seen a lot more than these. Just saying. I haven't heard of half of these names that made this dedicated artist list. And I watch a lot of online stuff. And I have not heard of half of these. Half of these. John, this is definitely not an American thing. What happened to a Josh Ross nomination? I agree with you. I thought Josh for sure with all the thing. I was huge shout out to Fabio Canu, who ended up getting the nod. For those who never got to heard Fabio, he's been a great addition to Streamline. Yes, hi Rona. Thought 5 p.m. I usually was. I decided to do a little bit early today because I knew this was going to be one of those ones that were going to be needing a little bit of time. Guillaume said he won my heart already. Yes, Guillaume, we know you're a fan of Josh Ross, but with all the artists that we saw. So many platforms had been dedicated to artists. Agreed. I thought we'd see. Julie says she wants a Fabio calendar. I'm pretty sure Daniel and the boys can arrange that. Don't give them ideas. I'm sure Heather Barton would want one too. But with so many platforms that we've seen dedicated to artists, between Ethan Allen's been on a lot. We've had Nikki's been on. Natalie has been on, and Natalie's already won it. She can't even be nominated. But you had all the people Streamline brought on. I thought for sure that we would have seen a couple more of them because that's what's being seen. No offense to anybody on this list, but I heard of 1, 2, 3. I've heard of 5 out of the 8. So I had voted for Thornhill. Didn't make it. I thought for sure we'd have seen some more people on it that we had seen perform throughout this entire lockdown. Dave Baycroft. Yep, half me too. Never heard of 4 of them, but I'm not a huge live music fan. Caligo got my vote. Right. I get a lot of people aren't a big live music fan. I was just shocked that more people that we've actually seen performing throughout this entire time did not get the nod. Didn't get the votes. I thought for sure with how many people it was getting pushed through Streamline, it was getting pushed through everything else, that we would have seen a couple more people that to get the vote out on that one. So, but like I said, nothing against anybody on this list. Huge shout out to everybody for getting the nominations. I know it's how much of a big deal it is just to get nominated. And huge shout out to everyone on that. I know, me and the shows, we always like to ask the tough questions. I don't mind asking them. I get yelled at enough. It's okay. But I'm used to it. That's what this show's about. Interviews and topics like that, guys. I am going to be trying to do a show a day, except for, I think, on New Year's Eve from now until my birthday. The goal is I have 14 left after today to get to 100. The goal is to get 100, to have show 100 on my birthday. It'll probably be at a special time, probably run a little bit longer. But the goal is to have show number 100 on January 15th. I'll post more about that. I want to make it huge. I want to have some fun with it. I've had a blast doing these. So huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I know today we've had a good turnout. Huge shout out to everyone who decided to want to come and talk about this. I know this is, like Jonathan said, I know I was brave bringing on this subject and bringing up the touchy subject of it, but I'm curious. I am 100% curious of how this happened. I understand that a lot of Americans don't vote. But my question is, did all the people everywhere else not vote for anybody in the U.S.? Because that's my curious. Not one. The people category is fine. We've seen very few and far between the past years. But even the dances, like I don't understand how Catch didn't make it. A couple of the ones with Amy's name on it this year didn't make it. She had a couple good ones. Scott's done some this year. I thought for sure Texas Connection with Josh and Joe could have possibly been in there due to the fact that the nominations were deeper. But again, guys, if anything, what this says, go out and vote. Register for linedancerweb.com. I walked you through it. I did an entire video on how to do it. Please go out and vote. So far, up till now, we've only had 258 votes done by Americans this past 30 days. The number one voted dance by American only has 6 votes. Only has 6 votes. Shot Tequila only has 6 votes. So please. Thank you, Julie. Julie says I did handle it well. She said, we've had some dreadful, hurtful CBA threads here in the UK in previous years. There's no need. And there's right. There is no need. My thing is I always try to ask the important questions. I always try to ask them with dignity and respect, and I question. I have no problems with being told I'm wrong. I get told all the time I'm wrong. It happens. But I'm curious of why I'm wrong. And tell me why I'm wrong. Don't hide behind it. I know a lot of people don't vote and didn't go and register to vote because they don't want to register and they don't want to sit there and let their votes known. What are you afraid of? You have no problems telling people how much you adore and how much you adore this person on Facebook. Go out and vote for him. Go out and show your support. Go out and show your support for these dance instructors. Go out and some of you people that I know you don't like to vote because you don't want to say that you are showing support for one and not the other. Vote for both. You can vote for more than one dance a month. I voted for 6, 7, 8 dances in the same category. I voted for the dances I like, plain and simple, regardless if they're against each other or not. That's just how it is. So, Georgina said we'd all be boring if we had the same opinions, but just have to be appropriate and open. Great job. Thank you. That's what I've been trying. That's what I've been trying to do. Julie says, well done to you and to you too, Kelly and Kelly. You've been pivotal this year too. Thank you. We tried. I wanted to bring something different and do something more. And that's just the way I've taken this entire time during the pandemic. I've tried to do as much for everyone I possibly could. I don't know of anybody who's called me up or messaged me asking for my help that I haven't picked up the phone and called and tried to walk them through or help them with something. And like Guillaume just said, it only takes a few minutes. Please vote. And Julie said, if you don't vote, you can't moan. Plain and simple, guys. Vote. I find it hard. Like I've gone on and looked today. I was going on to look today just to see who's voted, and it's sad. Guys, vote. Because you know what? The votes count for the whole year. Vote. You get to vote every 30 days. If you vote for a dance and it's still your favorite dance 30 days later, go vote. Go vote for it again. I know I voted for a couple back-to-back months just to make sure the votes kept counting. Plain and simple. It's just how it was. It's just how it is. But yeah, definitely go out and vote, guys. If you haven't yet, you have 2 days. 2 days to buy your pass to the CBAs before the price goes up to £35. Join me. I will be broadcasting for this Kings Hill New Year's Eve party. Head over to Line Dancer's page, and it's free on New Year's Eve. We're going from 8 to about 1. It's with some of the DJs from Line Dancer Radio, as well as Maggie Gallagher, Nikki Napier, and stuff like that. We'll be doing a performance. So head over to check that out. And guys, voting opens on the 1st. Friday's show, it'll be a little quicker than normal. I don't know what tomorrow's will bring, but Friday's show is January 1st. I am doing my voting live on air. I am doing my votes live on the air, and we're going to go through category by category, and I'm going to talk just like we did my nomination. So if you have any questions on how to vote, the day the voting opens will be my show. I will be doing my voting live on air. We can walk you through it. Ask me any questions. Send me messages. Guys, if you want to be on any of the shows, I need people to interview. People have been asking for more choreography challenges. Guys, if you want to come choreograph, if you want to be on some of my topic shows, just to give you a heads up, Dave Morgan has already agreed. We are coming back. We are doing part 2 of your voting, just like we did part 1 of the show last week. Dave has agreed to come back on. We're going to do part 2. Jonathan says, can I do mine too? Sure, Jonathan. If you're not doing nothing, let me know what time you're available. I can have you on as a guest. We can do our voting live on air together. I'm absolutely okay with that idea. We can definitely get you on. You can be right next to me side by side on screen. We can talk about our voting. We can both do ours live on air. I have no problems with that. So definitely head on out there. Vote, guys. I'll let you know what the show tomorrow is going to be. Until then, thank you guys for showing up. Episode 86 is now in the books. We're almost done. Almost to 100, guys. My goal, January 15th. We're going to have the show 100. Until tomorrow, guys. See ya.